If this keeps up, I will be actively rooting against the WNBA. Hello, good people. It is Todd Shannon, data scientist, social commentator, getter of buckets, and I'm going to do something a little bit different today and talk about the WNBA. The stage of this conversation, what's setting the stage, is Michael Porter Jr., NBA player, had some comments that he made about the WNBA and about how they are paid, and it was basically common sense. We're going to listen to it and try to dissect what the controversy was, and I'll give my thoughts. Let's jump into it.
Recently had this to say about the women's game.
And they're very talented, but so is a famous ping pong player. They're just as talented as the best ping pong player is just as talented as the best basketball player. That doesn't mean they're going to get paid the same because
they play ping pong.
It's what the people want to watch. You know what I mean? So as much as I understand females wanting the same treatment as men basketball players, it's a different sport. People, they're not packing out the arenas. Obviously, their TV deals aren't the same. So as much as I advocate for women and kind of the equality of the respect of their craft and all those things, I mean, you can't pay them the same thing, but I do feel like there should be a little way to make a little bit more money for them because they are very talented.
Correct.
All right. So you see he tried to soften it right there at the end. But as we like to say, no lies detected. Okay, 100% facts. The women's game is basically a different sport. It's different, right? And he had some comments where he said he had some recommendations. He said, I think they need to lower the rim. Now, the lower the rim thing has been a thing that has been floated around for quite some time. And every WNBA player that I have seen has basically had a visceral, violent reaction against it. And it's really absurd. Now, let's take a little moment here to hear some of this WNBA players, her reaction to some of these comments. And I thought they were, frankly, I thought they were a bit delusional, but I think instructive.
Yeah, I think the
My issue with the pivot is they allow these guys to say things that they know is wrong, and they just...
Okay, what did he say that was wrong? I can't think of a single thing.
They just are like, okay, keep going. Or they'll feed them more information for them to then double down on the stupid shit that they had just said. So, I mean, there's a lot to unpack in his statements, identifying us as females instead of women the whole time.
What is she talking about? Are women not females? What is she talking about? Okay, let's continue.
That we can't get treated the same, and then he then says...
He said you can't get treated the same with respect to pay. You can't pay them the same thing. You don't pack the arenas, and the people don't tune in when you're on TV.
Treatment to payment, which are two completely different things. We can still be treated with respect, and they can respect our craft without us making $20 to $30 million a year.
Are women being treated with disrespect? Every time I turn on my television, I'm seeing some ad about some girl power garbage. They cannot be, this is bordering, I can't even say it's bordering. It is actual propaganda where basically they're trying to socially engineer certain attitudes about women in primarily masculine roles. That's all they do is promote it. And women are not being treated with respect. All right.
Those things are not both of those things can happen. We cannot get paid $30 million, and we can be respected and treated well for being professional basketball players. Lowering the rims comment, you already know how I feel about that. It's stupid. It doesn't benefit me personally at all because I'm still not going to dunk. Yeah. I can't dunk on a 10-foot rim. I'm definitely not going to dunk on a 9-foot rim. It's going to fuck up my shooting. It's going to fuck up everybody's shooting.
Okay, pardon that. I didn't beep out the profanity there, but I'm going to stop her comments there because this is the problem. Okay, let's just set the stage like this. Let's imagine that you own a hot dog stand. Your hot dog stand is trying to get it off the ground, but you're having trouble, gaining some momentum. And then someone is kind enough to come over and patronize your hot dog stand. They eat the hot dog and they say, you know what? I prefer Nathan's hot dogs, but I'll tell you what. The thing that would be better about this hot dog, like if you change this flavor profile, or maybe you cook it a little bit more, little more well done. I think that the hot dog is a little soft, and whatever the feedback is. If someone was kind enough to give you that feedback, and that's basically this sort of information is something that businesses pay millions and millions of dollars for every single year, customer feedback, right? And let's say you did that and you had your hot dog stand, and then every time someone came to you, like maybe, let's not say every time, but like take 30, 40% of the time, people gave you the same feedback on how you can improve your hot dogs. And every time they say that, you get mad like they're insulting you. You are the problem, not them. You're trying to blame the customer for not liking your product or offering solutions for how you can make it better. This is what I don't understand. And this is why what I'm saying is I'm actively rooting against the WNBA, because the WNBA, so long as they have women like this, the product's never going to change. I mean, even the NBA itself is constantly looking at how they can improve their product. I think there's real conversations about whether or not it's too easy to score now. And I think it's a combination of, them getting, basically saying you can't touch anybody. The way they call fouls are absurd. And now we getting these explosions of 70-point games, and we say, well, yeah, we want offense, but we don't want basically video game numbers. It needs to be better. And you can see, obviously, the All-Star game, which has become unwatchable in the NBA because they don't compete. So the point is that even in the NBA, they're trying to constantly improve their product. They're not resting on their laurels and saying, we work so hard on our craft. We deserve people by dint of the fact that we work hard on it. People should give us money and respect us. No, nobody owes you respect. This is sports entertainment. The only reason why you have a platform is because you provide a service to the people who are watching you play. And if it's not entertaining, and if it's not what they want, and if they're telling you what they want and you won't give it to them, you deserve to die. The WNBA, I don't know if you know this, they have never, ever in the history of their existence turned a profit. Never. They have always been supplemented and subsidized by the NBA. So this is another thing that I have a problem with. But this is all this is fodder, right? All this is missing the forest for the trees. The broader issue is, how can women and men understand how to exist in a complementary fashion and understand fundamentally that women are just different? This is the thing that should be understood. Women are fundamentally different. Here's one reason why women will never, ever ascend to the heights in an athletic sense to men. It'll never happen. The reason why is because athletes are young. Athletes are young. And young people are the only people who can excel at the sport. But that's also the same time frame where women should be emphasizing mating and childbearing, because having babies is a young woman's game. So for men, they can actually go through their physical peak, their physical prowess, without having to take time to bear children, when women can't do that. So for women, literally, they have to choose. They have to choose. Am I going to be an elite athlete, or am I going to be a mom before I'm 30? They very rarely can do both. If they do both, they're the rare exception. So the incentives are not aligned for women to go all in on athletic prowess. Not to mention the fact the other physiological challenges that they have, not being as strong, not having the same level of endurance, not having just the fact that women menstruate once a month. It's almost like being injured once a month. your productivity and your capacity to work out and to do rigorous physical activity is severely hampered. I know I have a wife and a daughter. I know that they are not the same during that time. And and like I said, once you turn 18 as a woman, your clock is ticking. By the time you get to 30, you should optimally be having several children. And so the incentives are not aligned. Even if women reach their athletic prowess peak, even if they do that, they are still not going to have the same sort of impact or same sort of benefits as men have. So it's actually better for a young woman to find a professional athlete who's a man and marry him than to become a professional athlete. So do you understand why the differences between men and women have to be acknowledged? I love women's sports. I think it's great that women can play sports. My daughter was an athlete. She played volleyball. I thought it was great for her. I wish she would have gone on to play in college, but that wasn't in the cards for her. But after that, I would have been encouraging her to pivot sharply. Okay? Because as a young woman, you have to prioritize the fact that you have a very, very short window of time to produce children and be healthy and have your children be healthy. And so this comes down to really just not acknowledging the fundamental difference of women and men, and then creating this false conflict that shouldn't be there because we won't acknowledge that fundamental difference. But that's my take on it. Let me know what your thoughts are. Do you think that this conversation is overblown? Do you think that women should just accept the fact that they're always going to be, from an athletic standpoint, at a disadvantage to men and govern themselves accordingly, right? Or do you think women should go full girl boss, Disney, MCU, girls can be heroes and beat up 300-pound guys, whatever? Have you bought into the propaganda? Let me know. I know maybe the way I framed that, you're not going to answer that. But let me know in the comments what you thought. Let me know if you think I'm dumb. Till next time, friends. God bless you.